Welcome back, friends. I have a question for you. I'm wondering, have you ever had to dig a post hole in the wintertime? So last week I installed a mini food pantry about 15 miles from here, and we've had similar type of weather. We had snow on the ground. So what I wanted to do is, when I went out there, is to have this post hole digger in the best condition it could be. So if I have to bust through some of that stuff, I don't want this all dull and rounded on the ends. So I decided to use a tool. It's a Milwaukee right angle die grinder. It's the M12 fuel version. So I bought a couple of bracelet pads for it and decided to see how it works sharpening the ends of this, and it really works well. So we're gonna go in my garage in a few minutes and I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. So the reason that I have the die grinder is because I have a couple different trailers. I have an aluminum landscape trailer that I plan on doing the rewiring to and upgrade all to LED lights, as well as this dump trailer that I have over here. This is a 5x10 and it has quite a bit of rust on it, and I definitely want to upgrade the lights on that too. You can see he has cabin fever. So let's go inside. We're going to take a look at the die grinder and some different attachments for sharpening this. So then I also have a couple of different hand tools, because I think right now is the time. So when spring gets here, you'll have everything all tuned up, including some of your handles that they need some attention. I'm gonna show you how I do that. And a shovel, a mallet, and another shovel that I'm gonna clean up. So let's go inside and take a look at some of the sharpening going on. This is really an amazing tool, and I've been able to get by without one because I own these two other tools. Let me show you. So this is one of the items right here that I have. This is a 4.5 inch angle grinder. This is serving me really well. Right now I have a flap disc on it. Sometimes I'll have a grinding wheel like this or a cutoff wheel, and I can really do a lot with this. Then for some of the finer detail work, I have a rotary tool that has many different accessories like this. So this has limited power. This has quite a bit of power, but something in between, like a right angle die grinder right here, really comes in handy. And a lot of these are pneumatic, so they have an air hose and a compressor. But then a little while back, Milwaukee came out with this version right here. This is a M12 battery powered, and this actually has 20% more power than pneumatic. So I've been feeling like I should really get some experience using this to see what it's like. So when I go to tackle those trailer projects, and I also have an automotive project that I'll probably tackle like somewhere in the mid-spring. So it'd just be a good idea for me to really get familiar with this and how it handles and what to do, the angles to hold it, what to avoid. So I tested this out on a shovel. That was the very first thing. Just trying to clean up the edges. Let's see. So this right here seems to be one of my go-to shovels. This one's always handy. Just really lightweight. It has a fiberglass handle. And I did break the tip on it a while ago, so I am gonna have to reshape it. And I was actually using this last week for a project, so I apologize for the dirt on it. It looks pretty messy, but you can see how I cleaned the ends up right there. You can see how I sharpened it, how it's kind of shiny right there. From right here where the curve starts all the way around to right there, that's where I want to get it sharpened up. Let's try it out. It's doing a nice job. I think I'm gonna try to shape this so I can get a little more of a point right there instead of it being flat and chipped out. So we're gonna put this grinding stone in next. Well, we're on speed 1. Let's go to speed 3. Yeah, it's definitely shaping it. So now I've switched over to a coarse grit sanding wheel right here to take the burr off the back side here. We don't need a razor sharp, but we don't want it rounded either. So yeah, that feels good. Much better, I would say. So now that I've run the die grinder on this right here, I have all the scaly stuff off. It's down to smooth metal. So if I want to spray it, if it were a little warmer outside, I would go out. I have some spray paint. It's a combination primer and paint. I put a couple coats on this. And then the handle right here, that's something that definitely needs attention. This looks like it had spent a little bit of time outside for too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this down, and then we're going to finish it, and I'm gonna show you how I preserve it. This side right here in the back is the worst. So I'm going to start with some heavier grit sandpaper. So in my Milwaukee pack out, I have a collection of these sanding sponges right here. You just never know when you're gonna need it for wood or drywall. Just comes in really handy. So there's 60, 120, and 220 grit. So what I like about the sponge right here, it will mold to the shape of this right here. So I'm not gonna have any flat spots. So let's go ahead and start sanding with this. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna go to my orbital sander. So you can see right away it's taking off some of the high spots right there. That's exactly what I was wanting to see happen. All right, now we're gonna step it down to the 120. All right, so now you can see I have a lot of sawdust on here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put some boiled linseed oil on it. So what they recommend doing when you're down to the bare wood, I've heard somebody say to put boiled linseed on every day for a week, and then once a week for a month, and then once a month for a year, and then after that, you just touch it up once a year. It just takes a little while to get that buildup going. So that's what I'm gonna do, is follow that, and then I think this handle is gonna be good to go. All right, so I just decided to wear some nitro gloves, and I have a couple of these shop rags right here. So we're just going to get that built up on there, and then add it to the handle. All right, this is going to really make a difference with this handle here. Just gonna try to really work it in. But I just love the way that it makes the grain pop already. Looking awesome. All right, I think that's good. We're gonna let that dry and then go at it again tomorrow. So last summer I had a burning bush to remove, so I came across this right here and just noticed that it was as dull as can be right there. So it looked like you would spend all day trying to chop, and it's just a flat, it was all gouged up. So I did use my angle grinder on this to give that a decent edge. So it's still fairly sharp, but I'm noticing that this side right here, you can also use this for doing some chopping. So I was thinking when I was going out to dig that post hole that I might use this to chop the ground, that I might do some prying with this. So I might have to dig this in the ground and then I could pry it up. But it'd be helpful to have a sharp edge on this as well. So it's fairly decent, but we're just gonna touch it up a little bit. So this has the original lacquer finish, which I'm fine with using, because I often use gloves when I swing something like this. I know that there's talk that you can get blisters when you have a lacquer finish. I know people that swing axes and things like that prefer to have a boiled linseed oil finish, but since I'm wearing a glove anyways, we're gonna just leave this. It's holding up well. So we're just gonna go ahead and sharpen this up a little bit more. So we have the safety glasses. These are my favorite ones right here. Breather mask. Okay, notice a little burr on the bottom, so I'm just gonna go ahead and touch it up with this right here. Good. Okay, we got rid of the burr. It's good to go. So this is one of those tools that I don't use that often, but when I have an issue, this thing really saves the day right here. So you can just chop through roots right here. You can do a lot of prying with it. This right here kind of acts like an axe right there. So if you damage it up, it only takes a short while to resharpen it, get a nice edge back on it again. So a couple years ago, I had to rebury an electric line to my well, and this right here really helped get through some of those roots. So now I'm gonna put this away to the spring, and if I need it, it's all sharp and ready to go. Now go ahead, turn it around. So I just want to reemphasize, we're just going for a nice angle on this, nothing too crazy where it's sharp like a knife. We don't need that because it'll dull pretty quick. But if we can get that roundedness out and then have an angle to it, that'll just help you dig into the dirt. All right, that feels good. That feels like it's going to dig in. So here's a quick update that I want to point out. Since I did all my sharpening, I was in a home improvement store today and I came across this sharpening stone right here, which I think is going to be better than the curved one like this. This will give you a flat grind. So what I'm going to do for my future sharpening of my shovels and things like that is use this flat stone design right here. What do you guys think? Would you go with this one, or would you just stay with the sanding pads like this? Put a comment down below. Let me know what works for you. So I'm hoping this video has been helpful for you, showing you some tips and tricks, especially using the Milwaukee M12 fuel right angle die grinder. This thing is just gonna be really versatile and handy for so many different things. So when I go to wire my trailer, there might be some areas where there's some rust that I have to work down to get a nice area for the wire to connect to. So it's always important to have a good ground on your trailer. So I think this is gonna be really handy when I go to do some of those things. So if there's another tip or trick that I've left out that you can think of to add to it, please put it in the comments down below. I'd be happy to see what you have to say. Or if you have any questions about what I've done, I hope it's helpful for you, and just let me know. I'll be happy to respond to that as well. So if you find this video to be interesting, helpful, and informative, please give it a thumbs up and help support my channel. That's it, friends. Thanks for watching. See you next time.